Okay, so today we are diving deep into some really cool ocean encounter ideas for D&D.
Yeah, we've got a treasure trove here. 2 whole lists.
2 of them.
One for just general D&D, and then another one, a whole 100 for 5e.
100 each.
Yeah.
I know. It's incredible.
It really speaks, I think, to how vast and unpredictable the ocean is.
Oh, for sure.
Which makes it the perfect setting, honestly, for any D&D game.
Absolutely. And we're talking like, oh my gosh, huge creatures you could run into.
Yes.
Scary shipwrecks, classic pirates. What more could you ask for?
All of it and more.
I know. So are you ready to map out a course through all of these and pull out some really awesome ideas that'll help inspire people for their campaigns?
I am ready to set sail on this adventure, yeah.
It's amazing. Let's start with something that I think every sailor is always a little afraid of. Huge creatures.
Oh, yeah. Big monsters of the deep.
Yes. Both lists have a ton of them, but it's so interesting how different they approach it.
Yeah.
The general D&D list, I felt like, really leaned into how majestic some of these creatures are.
Yes, like awe-inspiring.
Yes, you've got a giant shark being chased by mermaids.
That's so cool.
I know, right?
And I think that one even mentioned it had harpoons and stuff sticking out of it from previous attempts. So something else had already tried to go after this giant shark.
That's amazing. And then there's a colossal squid.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, that's guarding some lost treasure. Got to have that. And then
treasure.
And then even just like a giant turtle giving rides to some mermaids.
Yeah, just like a little underwater caravan.
Like what?
Yeah.
It's incredible. It really is like that wilder side of nature, like beautiful and awe-inspiring, but also could kill you.
Absolutely, yeah.
Then we get the 5e list, and they're like, no, these things are terrifying.
Yeah, they're scary.
I mean, you got the classic kraken pulling down a ship, obviously.
Yeah.
But then you have a whale-sized garbage creature.
Oh, yeah.
Hello.
Pollution.
It's like a consequence of civilization.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, kind of a horror element there.
Definitely. And then there's a giant lobster with a spear. What?
It's a spear.
How?
I don't know. It's those little details that really make a creature encounter memorable.
Totally. Where did it get that? Did it,
I don't know.
pull it off of some unfortunate adventurer before?
Yeah.
It makes you wonder and want to know more.
For sure. What happened there? Speaking of things that make you wonder, I did love that the general D&D list had a giant turtle encounter, but is ferrying around passengers.
Yeah, they're just hitching a ride.
But they're mermaids.
Oh, that's cool.
What's going on there?
What's their relationship?
I know, right? Are they friends? Are they just traveling together? Do they hate each other and they're in a truce right now? Who knows?
Yeah, or it's indentured servitude.
Ooh, I know. So many possibilities.
Just a visual of a giant turtle, cresting the waves, covered in coral barnacles.
And then mermaids just chilling on top.
Yeah, looking at the party what's up?
Amazing.
So good.
Oh, and speaking of amazing, the general D&D list just had to take it one step further from the sky. A razor-toothed squid descending upon you.
Not from the depths below, but from above.
I know. Usually you expect danger from down below.
Exactly.
But this thing is no, I'm coming from the sky.
I'm going to airdrop in on this.
I know. It's amazing. It really makes you think outside the box. How do you even fight something that big when it's coming at you from above?
Yeah. Makes you think about the ocean as a 3-dimensional battlefield.
Yeah, exactly. And it's a good reminder that with colossal creatures, it's not always just about how strong they are.
Mm-hmm.
It's about the awe that they inspire when you see them.
Yeah, how do you even comprehend a creature that large?
Yes, and how do you interact with that?
Yeah.
So cool. Now, switching gears just a little bit, let's talk about those encounters where you're is this magical? Is it not? We're talking supernatural sails here. I mean, the ocean is already such a mysterious place.
Oh, for sure.
But these lists take it to a whole other level. We're talking ghost ships, enchanted vessels, you name it.
Yeah, it's a classic trope for a reason, right? There's just something so eerie about a ship just sailing around on its own, especially if you know it shouldn't be there.
Oh, 100%. You got creaking masts, maybe some tattered sails, and if you really want to get spooky, maybe a little ghostly glow out on the horizon.
Spooky. Yeah, and both of these lists really capture that feeling, but in their own ways.
They do.
The general D&D list, for example, has this great one. It's a shipwreck, right? But it's guarded by this lone sailor who's all beat up.
Ooh.
So at first you think, okay, easy rescue, maybe some loot.
But there's got to be more to it than that.
Exactly.
It's come on.
The classic bait and switch. And that's what's so great about it as a DM. You can really play with those expectations. Is this sailor really who he says he is? What happened to the rest of the crew?
Right. It wouldn't be a deep dive if we didn't at least consider, like, is he cursed? Maybe a shapeshifter?
Ooh, I like that. See, those are the kinds of encounters that can really spin your whole session in a new direction.
For sure. And it all starts with this, like, seemingly simple interaction, right? It kind of reminds me of this other entry from the general D&D list, talking about whispers of a lost golden city.
Oh, yeah, that's a good one. Lost civilizations, untold riches, classic adventure stuff.
All the good stuff.
Yeah.
And it's all just tucked away under the ocean, just waiting to be discovered.
It's practically begging for a whole campaign built around it, you know?
It is. And I love that because it highlights how these lists aren't just encounters. They're like entire storylines just waiting to be fleshed out.
Exactly.
And speaking of going all out, the 5e list just goes for it with a black floating island just radiating pure evil.
Oh, that's not subtle.
No, it is not.
Yeah.
But it's effective. You see that, you know you're in for some trouble.
It's like the DM put a big old warning sign right there on the map, like, enter at your own risk.
Right. But you know your players are going to want to check it out anyway.
Of course. Who could resist a little danger, right?
Especially when there might be treasure.
Always about the treasure.
So speaking of which, both lists definitely deliver on another D&D classic.
Oh, for sure. It wouldn't be an ocean adventure without a few swashbucklers causing some trouble, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And while both lists have some really cool pirate encounters, I think the 5e list really takes the cake for just being plain fun and unexpected.
Oh, how so?
For example, there's one with pirates who sing about your doom. How cool is that?
That's awesome. It's way more creative than just, like, threatening you with swords.
I know. It makes you wonder, are they just being dramatic, or is there something magical about their sea shanties?
Ooh, that's a good point. Maybe they can curse you with their singing.
Right. Or maybe they're just really good at predicting the future and putting it to music.
Either way, it's a great way to make the encounter memorable and really give those pirates some personality.
100%.
And speaking of memorable, the general D&D list has this great one. It's Captain Crocodile, and he's got this magic sword.
Oh, yeah, that sounds like a boss fight waiting to happen.
Right, and it presents a cool dilemma for the players, too. Do you try to reason with a pirate captain, knowing they're not exactly known for their honesty? Or do you risk it all in a fight against someone wielding a magic weapon?
Tough call. And those tough choices are what make tabletop RPGs so fun.
Exactly. It's not always about just rolling dice and fighting monsters. It's about navigating these complicated situations and seeing how your choices play out.
For sure. And speaking of complicated situations, let's move on to those encounters where it's not always clear who's a friend and who's an enemy. I'm talking about mysterious encounters.
Yeah.
These are the encounters where it's not a pirate attack. It's not some like big monster.
Right.
It's those times when you're like, hold on, something else is happening here.
Yeah, there's more to this than meets the eye.
Yes, exactly. And the general D&D list has a great one. It's just a lone sailor with an arcane item.
Okay, vague. I like it.
That's it. That's all they give you. They don't tell you anything about the sailor, the item, what he's doing.
So much you could do with that.
I know.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Is he just some poor merchant trying to sell something that's been in his family for generations? Is he cursed and needs help breaking the curse? Maybe he's a powerful wizard in disguise. Who knows?
Maybe he doesn't even know what he has, right?
Oh.
He just knows it's important.
Yeah, or like it's worth something.
Yeah.
It could go in so many directions.
Yeah, and that's what I love about these more open-ended encounters. Like, as a DM, you can just drop that into your world wherever it fits.
Totally.
And tweak it to fit your story however you need.
Yeah, for sure. It could be a one-off encounter, or it could be a whole campaign. Who knows? Speaking of hidden agendas, the 5e list have an entry that's just a ship with a hidden agenda.
Okay, I'm intrigued.
That's it.
That's all you need, though, sometimes. Just that little nugget.
Exactly.
What are they transporting? Who's giving the orders?
What's the secret?
Yeah, is it just some smuggled goods, or is it something way more dangerous?
Right. Maybe it's a kidnapped prince or princess. Who knows?
Ooh, political intrigue.
It practically writes itself, right? It's like high seas adventure, but with mystery.
I love it. Yeah, it's got that real cloak and dagger feel to it.
Yes.
It's on the open ocean.
Exactly. And then, like, instead of dark alleys, you've got hidden compartments on ships, right?
Yeah. And the 5e list, it keeps throwing curveballs at you. There's one with a mermaid who's on the run because she stole the king's seal.
Okay, now that is not your average ocean encounter.
No, that's some next level stuff right there.
I know, right? It
Wow.
makes you think. Like, what's going on under the waves?
Yeah, what kind of kingdom are we talking about here?
I don't know. Is the seal magical? Is she trying to, like, expose some big conspiracy?
Is she a rebel?
Ooh, maybe.
Is she being used?
Yeah. There's so many possibilities.
So many questions. I love it. It's a good reminder that even when you're dealing with these fantastical creatures, they've got their own motivations and problems, just like us.
For sure. It makes that world feel more real.
Definitely, yeah.
I think it's really cool how these mysterious encounters, they don't always give you all the answers.
Sometimes less is more, you know?
Exactly. Like you drop in a few interesting details, a little mystery, and suddenly your players are the ones coming up with theories and getting invested in the story.
That's when the game really comes alive.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Now, are you ready for the last category? Because this one is where we just go full on weird.
Bring on the bizarre.
The general D&D list.
Yeah.
It does not hold back.
Yeah.
Okay. They've got one. It's a beautiful island. Seems harmless enough. But giant ants are guarding a giant marble woman's face that's half buried in the sand.
What?
Yeah.
Where did that come from? That's amazing.
I know, right? It's like creepy and intriguing all at the same time. Who made that face? What is it doing there? Why are giant ants guarding it? Shh. So good.
See, that's how you do right. It's not just random. It's like, I need to know more. Yeah.
Yes, exactly. And the 5e list, they heard us talking about weird. They said, hold my ale. Because they have a ship made of foam.
What?
Yeah.
A foam ship? How? Why?
I have no idea, but I kind of love it. Can you imagine just like firing a cannon at it and the cannonball just goes right through?
That's hilarious.
What do you even do? It's like you expect a scary pirate ship, but it's made of soap suds. It's amazing.
You're going to need a really big bottle of dish soap if you want to take that thing down.
Right. And some sponges.
The players are just like scrubbing the side of the ship as it's sailing alongside.
Oh my gosh, I love it.
This whole deep dive has been a wild ride.
I know, right?
Giant lobsters with spears, foam ships. What's next?
I don't know, but I can't wait to find out. Actually, speaking of, the 5e list also has an entry for sea monks, but they only speak in gibberish.
Okay, that's a little creepy.
Right. Like, are they trying to tell us something? Are they just messing with us? Do they even know what they're saying?
Maybe they're just gossiping about the latest shipwreck.
In gibberish.
In gibberish, yeah. It was just like, blah, blah, blah. Did you hear about Brenda?
I mean, hey, you never know. That's what makes it fun, right?
It's the mystery, the unknown.
Exactly. Oh, and we can't forget about the last encounter on the 5e list fruit that makes you grow or shrink. Almost seems normal after everything else we've talked about.
Almost. But can you imagine the chaos? One minute you're fighting a giant crab, the next you're the size of a barnacle.
Oh my gosh. Those dice rolls would be intense.
Talk about a dexterity check, trying to climb back on board your ship when you're like 2 inches tall.
I'd be failing those rolls left and right.
Me too.
I think we've officially reached maximum capacity for weirdness today.
My brain is full.
Mine too. But in all seriousness, I think we've seen some really awesome examples of how to make ocean encounters memorable.
For sure. And the best part is, these are just a starting point, you know?
Exactly. Like, use these lists as inspiration, come up with your own twists, go crazy. The ocean is full of possibilities, and that's what makes it such a fun setting for D&D.
Totally. Don't be afraid to get creative, embrace the unexpected, and just have fun with it.
Couldn't have said it better myself. Until next time, happy sailing, everyone.